Mr. Engineer Syed Iqbal, President of the Indonesian Trade Union Confederation (KSPI), Ms. Farhana Yaakob, the Head of Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies UiTM Sabah, Ms. Ibiana Antoni, the advisor for this webinar on Trade Unionism program, Ms. Faiza Binti Abdullah, lecturer of Industrial Relation PhD 363 course, Anis Nadira, head of this webinar program, lecturers from Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Study UiTM Sabah, final year student of Diploma in Public Administration AM110, and those watching on our YouTube live. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning everyone. My name is Rosidi bin Rosdi and I will be the MC for today's event. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar on Trade Unionism program. Little background information to all. This webinar is organized fully by the final year student of AM110 as part of their assessment. This webinar aims to further understand one of the concepts in industrial relation, which is trade unionism. With the sharing from the two prominent speakers on this matter, we hope that all of us here will learn more on the functionality of trade union as a voice representing the rights of working people in both Malaysia and Indonesia. Praise to God, we have been graced by the chance together in this momentous program. Before we move on, let us begin with the recitation of dua that will be led by Muhammad Amir Faizi bin Alawi.
Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ghafir lana dhunubana wa liwalidina warhamna wal mu'minina wal mu'minat wal mu'allimina wal mu'allimat birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, all praise is due to Almighty Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the world. May the peace and mercy of Allah be upon His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, companion, and followers. Raise our faith to reach the most perfect faith and make our conviction to be the most excellent of convictions. Make our intentions to be the best of intentions and our actions to be the best of actions. Rabbi yasir wa la tu'asir. Rabbi tamit lana fi hadha al-majlis. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you to Muhammad Amir Faizi bin Alawi for the recitation of dua. May the event sail smoothly. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Farhana binti Yaakob, the head of Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies, to give her opening speech.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang dikasihi our distinguished speakers, Mr. Engineer Syed Iqbal, the President of the Konfederasi Syarikat Pekerja Indonesia (KSPI), Madam Catherine Jikunan, the Secretary of the Malaysian Trade Union Congress (MTUC) Sabah Division, Ms. Ibiana Florenciliana Nian Anthony Oning, the Program Advisor, all lecturers and members of the Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. First and foremost, it is my pleasure to welcome all the participants to the webinar on the trade union in Malaysia and Indonesia, organized by the final semester students of the faculty. I would also like to welcome the industry leading speakers and guests who, with a wide range of expertise and experience, together to be in this program to share the extensive knowledge and experience with the students community, especially for the students of the Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies, University Technology Mara, Cabang Sabah. I believe that the program organized today is basically very unique on its own. Although Malaysia in particular currently and most countries in Southeast Asia are still struggling in the pandemic of COVID-19. However, we are still blessed to having an opportunity to meet virtually in this very important program, especially it's going to be a really fruitful discussions for the students. And today we're also very fortunate to be able to be with our special panels that specially invited to discuss on the issues related to industrial management, industrial relations, okay, in two different countries. Especially we are looking into the context of Malaysian and also Indonesian industrial relations. And of course, the industrial relations management in these two countries are going to be different in situations, different in its circumstances, and also the challenges. I believe the discussion today will be very useful knowledge for the students who will be in the industries in the future. So the faculty is very grateful for the willingness of the both panels for the share of a knowledge and also experience in this field. And we thank you again for both of the panels to be with us in this program as organized by the faculty. And here I hope also the program will help the students to help their mental horizon and help them to understand better on the matters related to the management of employers and employee relations. So I wish you a fruitful, enjoyable discussions today. With that, I thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ms. Farhana, for the insightful speech. Without further ado, let us go on with our main agenda for today, which is the discussion session with the two of our keynote speakers, Ms. Catherine Jikunan and Mr. Engineer Said Iqbal. I will pass the next session to the moderator, Umaira binti Khalid.
Thank you to the MC of the day, Rosie D. Before we start the session for today, let me do the honor of introducing all of you to our first esteemed speaker. Ms. Catherine Jikunan is a graduate master's degree in labor policy. Expertise in all matter concerning labor and labor laws, she is a representative for workers as a board members in Employees Provident Fund, EPF, Industrial Court, Department of Labor, JTK, Social Security Organization, SOCSO, and currently, Ms. Catherine is the Secretary for the Malaysian Trade Union Congress, MTUC in Sabah Division. Please give her a round of applause and welcome Ms. Catherine Jikunan.
Thank you for the introduction. Are we going to start now? Or
Yes, please.
okay, let me share the slide first, yeah? Give me 1 second. Let me share. Sorry. Window. I seems to be cannot find my. Okay. Okay, I think I cannot share here. Anybody who have any idea how to share this?
Miss, if possible, you can share it with me on WhatsApp and then I will present it.
You hold on, ah. 1 minute. You have emails, I email to you because I think it's quite big to send through WhatsApp.
Okay, sure, Miss.
You message me your email.
All right. Okay, hold on.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry for the delay, yeah. Give me a second.
It's okay, Miss. Take your time.
Okay, I have sent to Anis, I think, the email. Can you check whether
Okay.
you received?
Okay, sure, Miss. Hold on. Miss, I already received the email. I will share the screen.
Yeah, you share lah, please. Are you sharing now or?
I'm still sharing it now.
Oh, okay.
All right. While we're waiting for the technical team to present, Miss Catherine, maybe I can ask you a few questions because when we looked into your profile, it was really interesting considering you have been in the unionism field for quite some time. How did you first got into the field?
Well, it's a long story actually. So not able to share now because it's already. Then when we talk about it later, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Just for I mean, it's been the question has been asked, so I just continue with my presentation. Yeah. How did I go through? Because it's also based on when I grow up. It's a base of experience on growing up as a child where you have this kind of life in a poverty life. Yeah. So when you grow in a poverty family, in a poverty, you are very poor, so struggle, so deep inside you, you want to excel. So when you excel to certain degree of achievement, then you start thinking, when you enter to the workforce, then you can experience how difficult is it for lower people, to earn a living and been discriminated, been pressured by capitalists, on and so forth. So it's all because of background when you're growing up. It's not, but I believe many of you now, people said, orang senang lah, when you all grow up, you all have a good life, your parents already have good job, something like that. But during our time, my time, it's not that way. So the struggle is the one bringing me to this movement. Okay. I have can you put the slide bigger? Can we have the slide, please? Okay, thank you. I think we can go to the first slide. This is the second slide, yeah, where I need to do a very short introduction on the history of trade unionism in Malaysia. So as a student of the IR in university, I think I'm sure you all are well aware of our movement in Malaysia, yeah. And in actual fact, I think you all are better than me, I think, in terms of reading, what happened in Malaysia trade union movement. I think you all very well as compared to me. Can we have the second slide? Okay, thank you. So this is the overview of our population in Malaysia, whereby we have about 32.6 million. Yeah, and then employed person is 15.6 million, which is 9.5 M is men and women 6.1 million. And then we also have different kind of workers, which is high skill 27.5, semi-skill is 60%. So we have a problem on the semi-skill, whereby most of us fall under the semi-skill. And low skill is 12.4%, which is also very considered is quite high for our population. Yeah. And as at May 2020, we have about 5.3% of unemployed person in Malaysia. And then currently, as you all are aware, minimum wage is 1,002, but this is not to apply to all area. It's only applied to 1,002 is for those in the city. Yeah. So like if you're living in the rural area, your salary will be, minimum wage will be 1,100. And in Malaysia, we have about total trade union over 500. And this is mostly in-house union, a national union, not so many, but mostly on in-house union. Yeah. So next slide, please. And here I'm going to have a very brief history of the labor movement in Malaysia. Yeah. So as if you read the history of Malaysia and then history on how we have kemerdekaan, it started when we in our World War One. Yeah. During the World War One, of course, we also have the communism movement coming inflated to Malaysia. Yeah, so this communism, I mean, they're bringing some sort of ideologies of Marxism lah. You know, mostly these communists, they have this Marxism idea. And then the idea actually during that time in 1930s, workers accepted it because it seems to be fair, because Marxists practice, you know, fairness, yeah, equal to everyone. But however, because of the inflected by the communism in that movement, in British, yeah, change the, I mean, wipe out, and then they put the legislation in movement wipe out by legislation in Malaysia, yeah, in Malaya by British. When the time British already in Malaya. And then this, as I said earlier, the idea of Marxism, this is because the arrival of the migrant from China, you know, and then, you know, in World War One. So when they have this migrant Chinas, they have this whole idea of Marxism, yeah. So the movement become bigger and then they become more aggressive. And then when they have this movement, so there is an area where maybe pressure from the work, from the employment, people are not happy. So they started small scale of a strike, yeah, to show to the employer that they are not happy in their workplace. So the biggest one, I think, strike in Batu Arang in 1937. So, however, this strike is also under the guidance of the Malayan Communist Party, which is the government at the time during British do not favor with this movement. Yeah. Next slide. So eventually, the MCP movement no longer purely for workers' rights, but they are inflected with political, yeah, and then they become violence. Yeah, it's not suitable for workers anymore. So in 1940, in response to this, British introduced the Trade Union Ordinance, but only this ordinance, which we are using now, is only enforced after the Japanese occupation in 1940. So the enactment of the trade, now we call it the Ordinance Trade Union Act in 1957, yeah, repealed the ordinance, trade union ordinance in 1940. So up to now, this trade union act is applicable for us, Malaysia. Okay, next. Okay. On the brief history just now, so we have this some sort of feelings, experiences of the trade union movement now and then. So now then, yeah, on our first prime minister, yeah, they declare the important instrument to protect the workers. So what he said is, declare that the growth of healthy trade unionism, yeah, he himself said that the healthy trade unionism is being encouraged by the government, yeah. During that time, Tengku Abdul Rahman encouraged the formation of a trade union. But compared to now, yeah, next please. So this is our former prime minister who has been governed Malaysia for many years, 23 years. So he is not in favor of trade union movement at that time, or even now, I think. he is not, because he is more on thinking about how to reboost the economic of Malaysia, investor, so on and so forth. So he will say that the trade union was superfluous, lack strong involvement in national development policy. So this is under the research and more meek and conservative. So this is his comment when a trade union tried to take their place in development of Malaysia. So we were kind of sidelined by the government. So government only want to think that without trade union, the economic development of Malaysia will be faster, better. So next. So in Malaysia, we have a few of law, providing basic protection for our workers, and this law, those you can see now here is the trade union have involvement in enacting all this law providing protection for workers. Even until now, like a Malaysian Trade Union Congress, we actively involved in amending the outdated law. Even like the minimum wage, MTUC has taken a major role as a tripartite in this formation of the minimum wage and discussing the minimum wage. So all the law here, Malaysian Trade Union in Malaysia are involved directly, for the negotiation, amendment, and so on and so forth. So these are those law that workers can use. Employment Act 1955 for workers in Semenanjung, Malaysia. Sabah Labour Ordinance for workers in Sabah. Sarawak Labour Ordinance for Sarawak. Child and young person who are also can be employed on part-time basis or small-scale basis. Minimum Wage Act, Weekly Holiday, and Pension Act. These are basic. Next. And in order to have monitor the relation between the workers and then the company or the employer, and then to have a better industrial relation, a government try to avoid any strike or picket or whatever. So there is a law that to facilitate this industrial harmony in Malaysia. So any workers who have 7 and more people in their association can form a trade union. So this is under the Trade Union Act. We can use trade union. And industrial relation is used when workers have problem in their workplace. For instance, like dismissal of case, Section 20, they can use industrial relation. They can file their case in industrial case, a Section 20 for reinstatement, or asking for compensation or whatever, and also can use JTK labor court in matters relation to their employment. And public service tribunal is for the government workers. And beside that, we also have our social security laws where protect our interests as a worker. For instance, like EPF. EPF is for workers who are working in the private sector. Swasta, private sector. This is the money that you will use when you lost your income or you retire when you reach your age of 60. And this fund also you to withdraw for instance, like you want to deposit your house, you want to start for the study in master, or you want to buy insurance, you can use the account too. And employees social security or porkeso or SOCSO we call it. This is some sort like an insurance for the workers, where workers, when they want to go to work or commute from house to workplace, and then if anything happened to them, accident or whatsoever, the SOCSO can cover you, can benefit you either you are under temporary disablement or you are permanently disabled, you can enjoy the pension. So SOCSO is one area that cover the workers as well. And even though you pay very minimum, but the benefit is very good. And Women Compensation Act 1952 is for protection for migrant workers or foreign workers who came to Malaysia to work with us, because this is a special insurance for them. However, along the way, Malaysia has amended the law that migrant workers also can contribute to Porkeso now, yeah, provided they are legally employed in Malaysia, yeah, same as a membership of a trade union. Foreign workers, migrant workers can be recruited as ordinary members in the trade union movement, provided they are legally employed in Malaysia, yeah. So next. So this is, as I mentioned just now, is a safety law protecting the workers as well, where we have the Factories and Machinery Act, Occupational Safety and Health. Yeah, occupational safety and health is if like you are working, company or employer provide you a table and chair, but you know, a room where it is not conducive or not ergonomic can give you spine problem or light, no light, very dim. You can use this act to protect you, yeah, for the OSHA to come and check your working environment, whether is it according to the standard or not, yeah. And as I mentioned just now, under the trade union movement, we have the ability to use this department if we have a dispute in our employment, like a labor department. Labor department, you can use if your salary not been paid, your salary been deducted without your consent, they prevent you from taking your maternity leave, they don't pay your salary, so on and so forth. So this is more on enforcement. If all your benefit stated in the Sabah Labor Ordinance, the basic benefit, your employer does not want to give you, yeah, you can lodge a report to labor department. Okay, and labor court, you can use labor court when, say for instance, company deduct your salary without your consent. So you'll lodge to labor department, and then they will send this file or complaint to labor court for hearing. Yeah. And then another one workers can use is industrial relation department, where you are dismissed. So different department, they have different function for our workers. So industrial relation is for dismissal, where this is no limit of how much salary you have. So dismissal, your constructive dismissal, whatever. But labor department, your salary must be 2,500 and below in order for you to file your report. If you have 5,000, you cannot use the labor court. You go to industrial relation court department, because industrial relation department is unlimited on your salary. Yeah. Yeah. So once you go to industrial relation department, you fail to settle, then they will send your case to industrial court. Yeah. And then the last one here is the appellate board, where, as earlier I mentioned, that workers, when they have accident in a workplace and then you want to claim with SOCSO, and then SOCSO said, oh, this is not accident, but you're not satisfied with the decision of the SOCSO, you can appeal at the appellate board, and then we have hearing to see, to determine whether your case is genuine or not. Yeah. So next. Okay. So far, you have any question on that? Or you keep the question and at the end then you ask the question?
Yes, Miss, we'll have a question and answer at the end.
Okay, thank you. Okay, trade movement in Malaysia, we do have issues and challenges, yeah, faced by us. We have, whatever I discuss here, this is not the limit, yeah, we have so many issues, but I just take a few. And this is ongoing, yeah, the issue I am going to put here is ongoing, and every year we have a different kind of issue suiting to the new environment. So we have this trade liberalization and deregulation arising from globalization and competition. As you are aware, if you read about economy, recently I think you're talking about the RCEP, yeah, where Malaysia one of the signatory on the RCEP. So if you it's a trade, yeah. So if you read about the content of RCEP, memang workers at the bottom right lah. There is no clause for workers' protection in that agreement. Yeah. And then, of course, power and influence of the multinational corporation. We have a lot of multinational corporation here in Malaysia. Example, multinational corporation is, I just take example of banks, yeah, HSBC Bank. They are multinational from the UK. And what they do is the changes structural of the bank is they don't follow what according to development in Malaysia, but they follow development in the UK. So in terms of job, designing job, structural job, all the thing is more advanced than our local one. So in this area, yeah, a lot of our workers become redundant in their job. So that is why a lot of dispute with the national union in West Malaysia on this bank. And then we also consider we have union busting. Yeah, union busting ini happen everywhere. Where, for instance, like when we want to try to establish trade union in the workplace, employer try to stop or block this establishment. They use a lot of tactic. For instance, one of it is to promote the new leader. They're promoting them, they're transferring them, you know, they pressure them, a lot of things, you know, they reconnect whatever the leaders do, so that at the end of the day, many of them will lose their job. Yeah. And then also the job, like I just give an example here is a British tobacco company. This British tobacco company once upon a time was one big company in Malaysia where they produce, you know, tobacco, cigarette, and so on and so forth. But because of they are also multinational, they most of the job, yeah, either they outsource abroad to a cheaper labor cost to Thailand, to Vietnam, to Indonesia. And during that time, only remaining sales in Malaysia. There is no other production. There is no factory or whatsoever. Yeah, so they redesign the job. Yeah, from sales they also redesign the job become you know, through telephone sales on it. There is no office. You know, movement of staff is very a few of staff on it. And then one of it is, which is until now we're still fighting for the amendment of the act, is requirement of the trade union to receive recognition from employer. So if you want to have a trade union in your workplace, you need to have a recognition from your employer. Yeah, to say that we are a union that representing 100 over or 1,000 workers in this company. So they do not want to recognize immediately. So what happened is sometimes it takes a long time to get the recognition. Sometimes, most of the time, not sometimes, most of the time, we involve the authority to force the employer to give the recognition. That is why, because of this process, a lot of the new union, sometimes they just give up like that because maybe the union have no experience or, you know, yeah, it's too long to wait for 3 years. Yeah, by that time, maybe recognized, they have no members already. So next slide, please. Okay, we continue here. And implementation of technology without due regards to implication of workforce. Yeah, as you can experience, I mean, we are in this era now where the technology has been widely used. Even now, also we are using this technology. But I just give an some example, for instance, like a bank that we've been using technology very, very fast. Workers lose a lot of their job. They, maybe in 10 years, maybe we don't need branches anymore, because now Malaysia also government under the Bank Negara, they are opening and telling the Malaysian that we want to have a digital bank. So by next year, May, April, we have 5 licensed digital bank. Digital bank is where you need all, it's a cashless transaction. All transaction must be use your phone. You just tap, open account, close account, transfer money, all using iPhone only. So you don't need, you don't need a branch bank to do your transaction. So this is also a challenge to us, issue for the workers who've been employed by the bank. Yeah, we lose our job. And the other one is the core labor standard and non-ratification of convention and freedom of association. So we are still backing with the government to ratify the convention, but we are still unsuccessful. But we are going to pressure the government to rectify this, because without this ratification of freedom of association, that is why our movement, our trade union movement, become so fragmented. There is no one unity union here. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, restriction of trade union formation, a lot of restriction before you form your union. Yeah, they have to use whether your union name is correct, does not affiliate to any political, whether you correctly, your scope representation is right. Because a lot of previous issue, they reject the trade union registration. For instance, if a union in a factory want to form a union, for instance, factory producing pencil, yeah, they will really see what kind of union you are in, because they said this pencil can have a rubber here, so that's different area, rubber, wood, and the pencil here. So the DGTU will really look into which scope are your union fall. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the next one is the traditional work increasing focus on flexibility restructuring. Yeah. This is also very intense, especially during these 2 years for the MCO, where we have flexibility, working from home. So for us, this consider like try and error lah. If you can work from home and the company still still make a lot of money, it doesn't. That means I don't need you in the office. I don't need 100% capacity people come to office. Yeah. So they said everyone can work from home. But the problem with work from home is this has not been addressed. The issue of work from home has not been addressed, has not been discussed, because we receive, work from home, the employment protection, like SOCSO has not been amended to suit for this work from home. And then if any accident during at home, it's not covered yet because it's not amended, unless you have a union in your workplace and then you negotiate to protect this one. Okay, we have not discussed about right to connect, right to disconnect, because when you go to office, you have office hours from 8 to 4. At home, you are on the IT. It could be abuse of the time. Yeah, just because you're at home, yeah, the company can suka-suka ask you to work, beyond time that you're supposed to work, and then you will not be paid any compensation over time. And also issue on the violence at home, domestic violence has not been discussed, has not been really not discussed, because we also have complaint and receive complaint that those who press work from home, they're actually having severe depression and stress, because and also they also have this domestic violence, whereby if those men or women, mostly women, stay with the extended family where their in-laws are staying with them. If they saw the workers, the ladies working on computer, and they will abuse them. They said, why don't you do this? Why you don't do that? Why you always on your laptop? Your anak, nobody look after them. Why don't cook? Why don't clean? Why don't sweep? So expectation of them in the house is so high that they thought that they are not working, but in actual fact they are working actually. So this has not been addressed in this new situation. So it's also come to another problem is when the company now recruit new workers, they put them work from home, and it's a problem for us to identify them, to recruit them, because we don't know who are there, and then the company never share who are their new employee, so it's unable for us to recruit them. Yeah, we don't know, because when you apply for a job, the company said start from 1st January you are work from home. So like us, if we are trade union, we don't know who are your new employee, because we never meet you, you never come to the office, no necessity for you to come to office. So this is the problem that the trade union movement facing now. That is why our membership is also shrinking because of this. Yeah. So next. Yeah. Another challenges is the restriction of recruiting members in a trade union movement, where this has been in our talk for the amendment, but we have not succeeded. Yes, we cannot include managerial, executive, confidential, police, those who have armed, and also military in our trade union. So this is a lot of area that we cannot recruit them in the union. Yeah. Next. Okay. And as I said earlier, membership shrink. Yeah, we experience membership shrink, as I explained just now the reason. Yeah, continuously redesigning job, same job function but different title. Yeah, you know, from like in the bank, the last time when we joined the bank, they call it clerk. After that, they redesign the title, become teller. After that, they redesign, become customer service representative. Now they redesign customer sales advisor. Sorry, so the job titles different. Yeah. So this is also the way they want to debunk our trade union movement. And then more outsource non-core business to third party. For instance, like here, previously it was done by our internal workers, but now they can outsource this. Security guard will collect your money, security guard will put out your money, so on and so forth. Yeah. So this is the threat also. And then you can see how this post office, yeah, lose a lot of the job, and workers also, I think they lose a lot of job as well, because post office, postman, courier service, any courier service can do the sending the courier now. GNT la, Ninja, so many now. So this is a threat to post office as well. Okay, next. Next slide, please. Yeah. And we're still talking about the challenges that we are facing here. Trade Union Act need to be to amend to include all workers in Malaysia. So that is important to rectify the Convention 98, freedom of association. Without that, the Trade Union Act still limit for recruitment based on the scope. Yeah, that is why here limit on it. And then our trade union also, one trade union for Malaysia, Semenanjung, one Sabah and Sarawak. We cannot mix, our membership cannot mix, yeah? And this is what I'm said under the trade union power. They have this power to decide whether your union is similar to other industry or not similar, yeah? If they said similar or not similar, it's their power to decide to register you or not. Yeah. And then what earlier I already said that non-citizen, excluding what do you call it, permanent resident, their membership to the trade union is very limited. Yeah, they can become an ordinary member, but provided they are legal, they cannot hold position in the trade union. Okay, next. Okay. The other one is the harmful rise to the bottom competition and cost cutting measured by employers lah. You know, for instance, like they create the way they do this, they want to cut cost measure in the company until they can create a precarious job. Precarious job is giving them part-time as from permanent workers to become non-permanent workers, but give them contracts, so on and so forth. So this is very dangerous in our employment. Huh? And then we have also more women joining the workforce. Yeah, but these women is also they face the discrimination, sexual harassment, and also poor working condition. I already mentioned just now all this issue on work from home, where most women are facing. Yeah, consumerism and environmentalist and social issues such as drug, alcohol addiction, smoking, and so on and so forth. These are the area that the trade union also need to bring about, because they are all our workers involved in this area. We are, even though we are workers, but we are also a consumer. Yeah, we need our salary to buy things. That is why we become consumer. We need to strengthen our movement. For instance, like now, everybody aware that the harga barang, you know, the harga barang in Malaysia is getting increasing. And then we can see a small scale people who are trying to protest. So workers itself have to stand up, yeah, and then intensify this movement so that their rights can be heard. And then environment protection. Yeah, environment protection is one of the area that where we really need to step up also, because we can also face recently about the flood, earthquake, and all things. This is all human natures. Yeah, we overuse the land or whatsoever, so we need to have this protection as well. Next. And then, as I said, the Industrial Relation Act need to be revamped. There is a small amendment into this industrial relation, but still, I feel it like still is a bit slow. Yeah. Now you can go to, if you lose your job, you can go to Industrial Act, file a Section 20 within 60 days, and then they call you for mediation. If fail first stage, they will send you your case to DG. DG will send the case to the court. So in court, it does not mean the process is very fast. It takes about sometime 1 year, 2 years to settle one case. So now process pushing the court from industrial to court is a bit faster, but it's also slow down in what do you call it, in court. And then another bad news is when you won your case in industrial court, the employer still can bring this case to high court, yeah, to appeal. Appeal is based on the question of law, of course, but when they talk about question of law, everything also question of law, kan? Okay, so next. I think this, okay, I already mentioned. Another one is strike. We don't really simply go for strike. We have used a lot of process. You need to notify the employer 42 days. You need to have pass a secret ballot, and then you also need to need permit. So when you have these three conditions, you think you will get, say like number 1, number 2, you pass it, but you want to go ask for permit from police, you think it's easy to get? I don't think so. They will always say that we are not going to issue you permit because ini akan menjejaskan keharmonian keselamatan negara. So they will not give you. Okay. So next. Okay. We have many challenges here. Of course, decent work. When I talk about decent work, is what kind of work that actually is we are doing now. Yeah. Is it decent work? Decent work, this include of your environment, whether you are safe, whether you have a proper, a better environment, working environment, protection, so on and so forth. And the minimum wage is a cater for now, because now our cost of living is very high. Are we still able to survive in 1,200, which is I think nearly US 300? And organizing the unorganized, are we still be able to organize these people? Because some of the workers, we can't even meet them. We don't even know who are there. They're working from home. Yeah. And employers, of course, our challenge with employers is they refuse to take trade union as their partner for their business. Yeah, they thought that a union is an enemy. So this is in their thinking is always there. And also we have this foreign labor, where we have a lot of foreign labor, unregistered, illegal, or expired your pass. Yeah, and then a lot of informal economy. Informal economy, like you're selling your things in a Shopee or online. We don't identify them. They don't have protection at all. Now, this is the one, the very new topic now is a gig economy. This gig economy, government does not monitor them. They have no protection, no EPF, no SOCSO, yeah, and a lot of things that the government need to do on the gig economy. And as earlier, I already mentioned about working remotely, working from home, yeah, no protection. And the next one is our union leadership. Probably the old one, like me, when I retire, I don't know whether there is another person like Catherine Jikunan. No, they have the new leadership style. I don't know. We don't know whether it can or be able to lead the union, or they rather take the career, yeah, rather than want to become a trade unionist. So this is a question that we always think, yeah. The future of the trade union is one of it is a union leadership. Okay, and the next one, please. Okay, effectiveness of the trade union in Malaysia. I think when I talk about a lot of challenges, you now can come to your thinking whether is it our trade union effective in Malaysia? Yes, we are effective in other way. We have our weaknesses as well. We have our effectiveness as well. Yeah. At the moment, trade union in Malaysia is fragmented. So that is the weaknesses of our trade union. So when fragmented, meaning many of small in-house union, they're allowed. Because small in-house union is you only can talk between your company. But if you have national union, yeah, like NUBE, National Union Bank, or Sabah Banking Employees Union, they cover the whole banking. So the voice is bigger. When the voice is bigger, when you want to do something, it's more effective. Yeah. The formation of a trade union, of course, is very difficult. Yeah, based on industry. And then this is what example I said, post office. In post office itself, they have how many? 9 in-house union. In one company, 9 in-house union. It's not effective. And then, of course, of all this, we have a Malaysian trade union as umbrella to unite all these union. So under the MTUC, we are recognized by the government. Yeah, next. Okay, so under the MTUC, as I said just now, we recognize Malaysian government to represent workers. We represent workers regardless you have a union or you don't have a union. Yeah, we represent the workers at the labor court, industrial court, JT court, JTK, Progreso, EPF, Minimum Wage, National Labour Advisory Council, and also we sit in many of the government tripartite bodies. For instance, like I myself sit in the EPF as a board member representing workers Sabah and Labuan. So any issue on the workers Sabah and Labuan, we discuss at the tripartite body, in EPF. So it's the same. Progreso also we have a workers representative. So this is the effectiveness of MTUC itself. We are recognized by the government, and we also recognized by the government under the ILO. So when we have ILO meeting, MTUC, MEF, and government will be there to sit to discuss a lot of issue on the workers issue lah. So next. Okay, that's the last slide of me. I hope it is exactly 1 hour, I think. I'm so sorry for the delay just now. So if you have any question on my presentation, I think can be asked later after the second speaker speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Catherine, for the delightful keynote address. I mean, to me itself, it was very fascinating listening to your explanation and experiences that you have gone through. It's really remarkable. We will now proceed to the question and answer session.
All right.
Okay. So you can ask your questions in the comment section in YouTube Live or in the meeting chat box. While we wait for a few questions in the meeting chat box, we will allow some questions that we have received during your session. So are you ready, Ms. Catherine?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So the first question that we received during the session is, what was the biggest changes, you being someone who has been in trade unionism for quite a long time, what is the changes between trade unionism now and trade unionism back then, 10 years ago or 20 years ago?
Okay, I would say that the changes is, in terms of legislation, the changes is not much. That in terms of the way we manage a trade union, we have a lot of changes. For instance, like in 20 years ago, we have more commitment. We are more committed, as if like the trade union is run through our blood. Like anything, we are semangat. We have this issue. We have we want to work it together. For us, during that time, the situation that time is we really need to improve the situation of our working condition. So everyone said that, okay, we must have to this one, we must have this one. But nowadays, the charisma is so different that people think in line with the progress of the development of the country. For instance, like if you're talking about the trade union charisma now, when you talk about we must fight for this. Yes, we do still fight for this, but we also, some of the leaders also think that we have to accommodate some of it. Bukan macam dahulu yang we have to fight. So there is a lot of changes, but in terms of legislation, there is a very little changes. But on the leadership itself, there is a lot of changes. And then our leaders also, when I look, there also fear of losing jobs. Because last time our semangat is we don't care, we want to fight. But now we also, the leaders will think that, if I want to do this, I will lose my job. How is it? Because there is no protection, so on and so forth. So they will back up. So it's in terms of leadership, there is totally different. In terms of legislation on protecting the workers, very minimum changes. That's what I can say lah.
Understood. So basically, it's the trade union, individual trade union itself lah, that has changed and improved. It's interesting. Next questions that we have received. To what extent does you've talked about trade union protecting rights of workers, especially in this time of COVID-19. So to what extent is there any key performance index of benchmarking the efficacy of trade unionism in protecting the rights of workers?
Key index, I don't understand what you mean key index, because under the MTUC we have a collection of complaints, complaints from the employed workers, where especially when last year when the things starting in March, a lot of workers come to us to complain that they lose their job. One, they lose their job, no job. Second, they were given unpaid leave, stay at home but no salary. Third, company are closed. So we have a lot of this, and then some of the company actually they're well-to-do, they don't affect much, but they take this opportunity to lean the company, so that they let go of few of those stuff. So we have this complaint, a lot of them this complaint, and then what we do is we have to help them to file to JTK, help them file to industrial relation, the labor court, to represent all these workers. So for Malaysia statistic, I don't think we have, but for I'm talking about Sabah here, I can say that we have a lot complaint that workers lose their job, and we also guide them when the government announced that there is a subsidy assistance. We also guide them where and how to go and apply the subsidy, and we also have represented workers to claim 50% of the salary deducted without a consent in JTK. We won, but after that company bring to high court appeal. But I think now it's settled. I think I'm sure you if you're interested in this issue, you all can read some of my statement in the media lah.
Thank you, Ms. Catherine. We received a question from Muhammad Mirul Faizi bin Alwi. He asked whether if the trade union is not recognized by the employer, the employee will bring the official of trade union. My question now, have you ever experienced this kind of situation where employers does not give recognitions to the trade union?
Many of them, I experienced many of them. I just want to give you an example. One example, Lanila, if I give you many examples, will be no useful, because it's all employer. If they're possible, they don't want trade union. They hate union, because we can negotiate what we want. We can tell the OSHA that your chair is no good, your light is no good. They don't like that because more cost to them. One of example that until now there is no recognition is our own local company, Sabah Forest Industry. They've been fighting for as long as I know. I'm in the union, I think more than 20 years. From Sabah Forest Industry local, then they change, they sell off, government sell off, and then now after that belong to one of the Indian investor. After that they sell. Until now, they have not given any recognition to this union. So sometimes this employer is very, very mean. Very, very mean, because they know if there is a trade union, we want to sit down with them to discuss. Okay, we have about 500 workers. The complaint I receive is, okay, they don't have kalau factory kan, they don't have a PPE. You must provide, otherwise we complain to OSHA. So when they have this kind of people telling them they don't like, because they will start thinking, oh, now I have to abide the law. I have to provide them, each and every one of them, PPE. How much it costs the company? And then if there is a work union that they see illegal workers, no work permit, they can come and tell the employer. I said, I noticed that there's illegal workers here without permit. This is illegal. This is not acceptable, because we have so many local workers here. Why you take illegal? We can complain to immigration. So all this work the company does not like to hear. They just want one-way communication. They said, this is my company, I want to do it myself. That is what the company or the employer want.
Okay, Ms. Catherine, you mentioned about employees not wanting to compromise with their employers not wanting to compromise with their employee. Having some good reputable years, what was, I guess, the biggest issue or the hardest issues that you had to solve in order to reach the same consensus between employees and employer?
The hardest issue is, of course, the minimum wage. Yeah, because I involved in negotiating the minimum wage from zero to until it was enacted, and the employer really hard up doesn't want to have actually a minimum wage. So when we negotiate this minimum formation of establishment of minimum wage, I think almost 2 years. There is a time when we walk out from the meeting. There is a time when the employer also walk out from the meeting. So we head to head. So that is the hardest. But once we achieve the meeting point, then I feel like we achieved something lah, which is even Singapore don't have minimum wage kan. So we started from 800, yeah, and then increased to 850 to 1,000 to 1,200 now. So it's a big achievement, but it's not 1 year, 2 years work. I think we've been talking about minimum wage for 10 years before, until we bring them to a table for discussion. And it takes us 2-3 years before we finally the minimum wage is enacted lah. So that's the hardest one.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Miss Catherine. We a question from Jonathan. What's your point of view on the work from home, which is the new norm that most companies are facing right now due to the endemic?
Okay. Many people think that work from home is good. There is a pros and cons. So we have to rectify this con there first. Okay, first, I think you can see in 7 areas. For me, I see it in 7 areas. First, the work from home is a new norm. Yes, I do agree that. Okay. Second, when a company places you work from home, company responsibilities towards their workers is to provide all equipments. Yeah, as if like you are having office. The employer have to give you a data allowance, computer, table, chair, even a place to work in your house. Yeah, as if like you are, because you are working, and then there must be some sort of agreement that your office, the work from home must be follow the current whatever letter of offer given to you, like you're working from 8 to 5, so 8 hours a day. Okay, and then there is also have to discuss on the protection of workers in the house itself. For instance, if you're walking to the office, you are covered professor on commuting. Yeah, you from your house go to office, or if you fall in the office, you are covered with the professor. But how about if you in the house? If you you go to toilet, yeah, you fall in a toilet in your house, do you cover? How about during your lunchtime in the office? You go to lunchtime, you accident, you cover. But how about during lunchtime? You stop 1 hour, you go to your kitchen, you start cooking, and then accident happen. Is that covered? All this issue has not been discussed. They merely tell you, you work from home. That's all. Okay. And then how about the issue of violence at home? Yeah. How do you protect yourself? How this employer protect their workers from being exposed to domestic violence, harassment, and so on and so forth? How this issue affecting them in the house give a good performance to your work? How do you evaluate them, in terms of their performance? How do you see this mental health of these workers? Okay, and then the next is right to reconnect. What I'm saying here is, when we have a gadget, you have internet and so on, sometimes we forgot the time. Yeah, because just because meeting like this, we forgot the time, or just because we are not going anywhere, so you abuse me sending text, about WhatsApp, said that I need this one, I need this one. So where is the cut-off time? So if you're telling me, okay, oh, I forgot at the time pukul 11 o'clock off, I forgot tomorrow we have meeting. Can you provide me the document, blah, 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 at 11 o'clock p.m. So when is your cut time? So all this issue have to address. And then those who are staying at home also, like especially for sales, they are required to call customer to sell their product. But are they using whose facility? Your personal facility? Because you are not giving me any data, you are not paying my Wi-Fi, you are not paying anything. Yeah. So all this question is have to discuss, have to talk about, because the policy of work from home must or really have to draft. You cannot abuse people. You cannot abuse people as and when they like. Yeah. So that's my answer for this one.
Thank you, Miss Catherine. Before we proceed to the next question, I'd like to remind all students to fill in the form both given by Miss Nur Faiza and Amira Khadija. So moving on to the next question, Miss Catherine, from Afif Faris Fauzi. What do you think, what improvement do you wish to see in the future in the trade union system, and how does this improvement per se will affect the overall performance of trade union?
Okay, I would like to see that many of the obsolete, not say obsolete, I mean, not upgraded or not revised act protecting the workers be updated, yeah, to a current situation where suit our situation now, yeah, to include gig economy, to include protection of people who are work from home, to include women working at home, so on and so forth. So improvement in the law itself needed to reverse all this, needed to have this efficient protection for workers. So in the future, if we have a very efficient trade union, act that protect the workers, it's also move along to performance of the union. The union will be able to accommodate whatever suited the situation now. And then we can, as a union, we have to educate the workers. Like MTUC, we have to educate the workers that what actually workers can do to make this country a better place to work. Yeah, we have to work together. Don't use the words like Sabhan always said, tidak apa, tidak apa. Tidak apa attitude is the one that kill your career. Tidak apa attitude is the one kill you. Become not a person that not a person that really have this motivation to excel something. You need to have a better sense of ownership yourself. You want to fight, you want to have a better life. Yeah, don't settle for less. That's what I'm saying.
Don't settle for less. That it's a good quote to hold on to, especially now. Moving on to the next questions from Faiz Lasandra. He asked what's the effort can the government make to promote trade union movement among workers?
What effort is very simple. First, rectify the Convention 98, Freedom of Association. And second, agree to amend all the act that can suit all the workers so that they are easily join the union. Other than that, government can say a lot of things, but at the end of the day, the restriction is still there. It still restrict our movement. So government need to rectify all those act and then the convention.
Miss Catherine, from your experience, what is harder, convincing, reaching a consensus within employer, or lobbying your interests with the government?
That's a good question. And based on my experience, is reaching consensus with employee is much more harder because they said they are the investor. Yeah, in the private sector. In the private sector, they are the investor. Yeah, and yeah, we agree they are investor. But investor is just you have the resources, but we have a human capital. So in order to have this human capital, they also have to think of how to handle the human capital the way they handle their resources. So here as earlier I give an example of how we conclude the minimum wage. That is the hardest to convince the employer. Government, because normally government here when we have the tripartite meeting, government is in the middle. Yeah, they will always swing there, they will swing here. So government sometimes we have the way to handle them, but employer is the hardest one. Believe me.
Okay, I was not expecting the answer, but okay. Ms. Catherine, moving on to our next questions. Graduates like us, especially us, will be graduating soon. So we will soon to be a part of the working industry and exploring our own careers. How do you think issues or matters such as trade unionism should be exposed to students?
Okay. My advice is for the new entrance to the market. Yeah, we are all workers. Okay, we are all workers, regardless what status you are, whether you are office boy, whether you are cleaner, whether you are managers or what. We are all workers, and the intention or the objective of us to look for work is to find is for economic purposes, right? So that we have income for our family, for our future, to pay our rent, car, so on and so forth. So our common purposes to come into the market is to find a reasonable income. Yeah. So when you have this in your mind that you want to have a steady and reasonable income, then you as a workers have to think, how do I get this? Yeah, how do I get that it's make me happy? Yeah, and it's make me contribute more to the company. Am I just go to the company, I don't care lah, whether they supply me PPE or no PPE, I just go lah because I just want to take the money. Whether it's risk to my health or whatsoever, I just. So you as a workers, you have to think, yeah, because the reason for you to go to the market is to bring the economy and your family, to bring the money lah. For instance, the money to go out to work, bring the money, and for your family. And you remember your family is waiting for you. And now you are become the sole bread of this company. If if whatever protection that you're supposed to have is not guarded and it's risking to you, what will your family do if something happened to you? They will lose you, isn't it? So the worker, people like you that coming to the industry, you have to think that working, yes, it is important, but it's also important to know your rights as a workers. What are the rights that you can use, yeah, to protect yourself, and then to achieve what you want. Don't think that the term of kaki tangan itu no more, because we are no more slave now. We are no slave, yeah. That is why the union is come upon, because people, the last time employer thought that we don't have right. You kerja as if like you have no voice. But now we are different. We have voice. We are workers. We can be equal because we are the person that also contribute to the company. So we want whatever affected us be heard. In order to do that, you must know, yeah, what is for you. What do you entitled for? You must know your Sabalai ordinance. What are you entitled as a workers? Okay, your minimum wage, your salary, your sick leave, your maternity leave. your holiday. All this you need to know as a new entrant to the market. Any of this violated, you can complain. Or what happened if you imagine what happened if you are graduate, yeah? You are graduate, you apply an officer executive job in say in one bank, you get a job. But after a few months, years, you working, suddenly the company have idea to reduce the workforce. What they do, they pressure you, they put you in the corner there without job. Maybe one day you think, never mind lah, no job, but I still got salary. But if every day, months and months, you do the same thing, your dignity pun you start questioning, isn't it? What are they trying to do? This is the way that the company try to pressure you, yeah? In the end, you will leave the company. But if you know your right, how to prevent that, you will be safe. The moment the company put you there, they already breached. They say they just put you in the cold storage. The company already breached the contract. Your contract said you are an officer doing this, but they put you in the cold storage doing nothing. First, they already breached the contract, your contract. Second, you immediately must notify the company saying that I don't agree this kind of things. I need my job. Please reply me in 1 week. Kalau 1 week they still don't take action, second letter follow the same thing. Give them say like 7 days. If 7 days also they don't take action, you can walk out from the employment. Then you go to the industrial court, file your case under Section 20 reinstatement. So this is the way you need to know at least a basic minimum how the law that I mentioned earlier can be used when you are in employment. If all workers know this, I think trade union pun tak wujud lah. But we still here lah, I mean to give you advice on this. Yes, it's a very good session to, I can feel that every one of you graduate and very eager to find a job, kan? That's the main purpose. You graduate, you have to find a job. Why you need the job? Because you need money for your family, your commitment, so on and so forth. So it's all intertwined to each other. So you have to understand this.
Interesting. So basically knowledge is key lah. So
Of course.
Graduates should expose themselves about like their rights and what they can do to protect them. Okay,
what I'm saying is some of I'm not saying all but some that I come across and experience just because they are graduate, they have a degree or whatsoever, so they're sombong lah, they don't want to go. Oh, I'm a executive. Why should I want to do all this? So I told those people, I said, today you are executive, tomorrow you are maybe nobody. Because people who come to me asking for representation in the IR court, there is a pilot, there is a doctor, there is an executive, there is working with salary 30,000 a month. They come to me. You see, during that time, they think they are somebody. Yes, I agree you are somebody, but remember, you are also workers. One day you will lose your job also. So jangan sombong lah, That is why when we come up to that is the reason for we have to treat our colleague equal, because everyone, regardless what their position, everyone is a workers, and one day, somehow or other, we might lose our job. Yeah, don't think unless you are owner of the company lah. Itu pun company can bankrupt juga kan. Even hotel besar-besar karena pandemic pun bankrupt also. So we must know ourselves as the workers. We cannot be sombong-sombong all this thing. Like me, I'm not saying I talking big lah, I have a master, but I never think that I am somebody or whatsoever. I feel I am a workers, that's all. I am a workers, and whether you are cleaner or whatsoever, kalau they all come and help me, I will help them. I don't think that, I am a board director of EPF, I must behave like a big boss. No, I never do that. It's not us. In my thinking, I am a workers. I work. That's all.
Understood. That true. We have to always be on our feet. Okay, Miss Catherine, our last question. Well, yeah, I think this is our last question. I've read your piece. I've read your fight about seeking solution and addressing the forced labor and child labor. However, when we walk, even if we walk in shop lots in Indah Permai, or if we go to Center Point, we will still see children having to work to survive or to even meet their needs. How do you think trade union in particular can help, not I think not just solving, maybe starting an awareness about this issue?
We've been having this conversation for a very long time about child labor and protection of this child. Yeah, and we continue. Of course, it's not easy. It's not an easy way. Easy things that can settle in 1 year, 2 years. Yeah, even minimum wage takes almost 10 years. But universal issues such as this one is a very difficult one. What we're trying to do is under the MTUC, we keep on educating our affiliates, our members who are affiliated to union, especially those from the plantation, on the commercial, to let them know that there is a law to protect this child. Yeah, there is a law to protect this child, and to tell these people that the child supposed to enjoy their childhood, supposed to be enjoying their school time, so on and so forth. There is a limitation that is there. We continue educate them. And then another one is we also need to educate the parents, especially those who have a small business, with child helping them, because in our research and in our write-up, with this kind of small business, they said they are not child labor, they are their children helping. So they use the word helping. So we said, yes, helping is all right, but only a minimum of maybe 1 hour is okay, but not like 3-4 hours until they've forgotten about their playing time, they've forgotten about the sleep afternoon, food, homework, school, and so on. So this conversation continue with with the small owner. Yeah, even in plantation, those migrant workers, they ask their children to work with them. We also continue to monitor that, because maybe husband and wife income is not enough, so they will ask the small children to help them to collect whatever necessary, maybe for fees, all this thing. So we keep on reminding them that child is a child. They should enjoy their childhood. They should be enjoying studying, so on and so forth. So never take their childhood from these people. Kan is a child. So that's what we do. It's a very difficult things. It's not easy to solve, but we have to continue make this issue a priority lah.
Thank you so much, Miss Catherine. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of our question and answer session. We have just received the news. Sadly, Mr. Iqbal could not attend and deliver his keynote speech now, as he has an urgent meeting to attend. However, we would like to thank Miss Catherine for answering all those questions and entertaining us with your interesting and insightful opinion and experience.
Okay.
These conclude.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. This concludes our session for today. I'll pass the program back to our MC of the day, Rosie D.
Thank you, Myra. It has been a pleasure listening to the speaker. I hope everyone not only enjoyed but also gained some new knowledge after the webinar. Once again, a reminder to all students, don't forget to fill both attendance link in Google Meet chat box. Every journey has its ending, and sadly, we have reached our. We would like to thank the speaker again for lending us their time. Thank you for the all viewers. The live session on YouTube will end now.
Thank you.
There will be a photography session after this. Everyone, please remain